Today is the fourth installment in my series of podcast episodes helping you to create epic show notes. And today we're going to talk about social media tips and the episode title, how you can put those things into your show notes in the best way. Let's get after it. My name is Kerry Green, and I am the Client Happiness Guy at podcastfasttrack.com, and this is Podcastification. This show is all about podcasting. How to do it, how not to do it, best practices, interesting news items that have to do with the realm of podcasting, and who knows what else. And I'm trying to do it all with a little bit of fun and some information to help you get a show going, keep yours going, or make it better. And if you like what's going on here on the show, I would appreciate it, so appreciate it, if you could leave a rating or review on iTunes. You can find out how to do that at podcastfasttrack.com/review. That's enough of that kind of stuff. Let's get you podcastificated right away. My team creates show notes for clients every single week. And our show notes creation process not only includes the things I've covered in the previous episodes, but it also includes what we call social media blurbs. Yeah, that's what we call them. That's even what our clients call them. These are a combination of tweets and paragraphs based on the episode content that we're going to use to drive traffic to that specific episode. So do you get what we're trying to accomplish here? We've already produced a great audio episode for our client. And we've already written great SEO-optimized show notes. But we've got to do more than just create it and publish it and then let it languish in the internet obscurity. We've got to promote the show. We choose to do this for every one of our show notes clients while we're creating the show notes themselves because it's the most natural time to do it. And are you ready for our secret sauce? That's that much of our show notes material can be repurposed into the social media shares. Repurposed. I love that word. So we're not really creating new stuff for the social media blurbs. We're just reusing and modifying what we've already created in the show notes. Do you follow? Now, I want to give you an example of how we create our social media blurbs from our already existing show notes content. And it's a bit difficult to explain in an audio-only format. But you can see an example with your very own two eyes at the show notes page for this episode. You can find that at podcastfasttrack.com/shownotes4. The example I'm going to use is taken from the show notes we produced for one of our clients, Scott Volker. He does an amazing show called The Amazing Seller. You should check it out at theamazingseller.com. Now here's a paragraph and a header taken from the show notes that we created for one of Scott's episodes. And again, go to podcastfasttrack.com/shownotes4 to see it with your own eyes. But I'm going to read it to you. There's a header and it says, why would an Amazon seller want to set up his own e-commerce store? And then following that is a paragraph kind of addressing that issue. It says, Steve Chou thinks it's a must for every Amazon seller to eventually move beyond Amazon and set up their own e-commerce store. There's many reasons, but two of the greatest are, number one, the ability to create your own promotional content, and number two, the ability to capture your customer information and follow up on them during and after the sale. He's found that ability alone to be a significant source of conversions for his products. Conversions, how do you like that? If you've been thinking about setting up your own e-commerce sales platform for sales outside of Amazon, don't miss this episode. All right, so that is the paragraph that we wrote. And it's just one of 5 paragraphs that we wrote in those show notes. Now, to create this social media blurb from this paragraph, it's just a bit of copy and paste and a dab of reformatting to include hashtags. So our finished social media blurb actually is the exact same content with some hashtags thrown in. Okay, so we put hashtag for Amazon seller. We put hashtag for e-commerce store. We created hashtags for follow-up and sales platform. You get the idea. We do a few basic things to make the social media post from the show notes paragraph. We removed the heading formatting and we included it as part of the blurb at the very first sentence. We also inserted the hashtags on the appropriate keywords, and that decision is based on our keyword research that we did. You can listen to one of the previous episodes about that. And then on 2-word hashtags, such as e-commerce store, we capitalize the first letter of each word to make them more readable. This step takes no more than 2 minutes to do because you copy and paste and reformat. That's all you're doing. And you've got a social media blurb that you can schedule out in Facebook, Google+, or LinkedIn. We provide 5 of these social media blurb thingies for each set of show notes. Yes, I said thingies. Nothing could be simpler. But wait, there's more. We don't want the tweetosphere to be left out, so we create tweets as well. And since these are tweets, there are some unique things we have to keep in mind. First of all, they have to be below 140 characters in length. And ideally, they should be less than 120 characters to easily allow for retweeting with comments. And they can and should include hashtags. So, how do we pull this one off? Well, don't forget our favorite word, repurpose. Using the same client episode as an example, we're going to take a look at the bullet point outline that we created. Remember, back in one of the episodes, we talked about creating a bullet point outline. And you can find our example here and look at it yourself at podcastfasttrack.com/shownotes4. So we took Scott's bullet point outline. And if you know something about bullet point outlines, it's this. The statements are all ideally suited for tweets because they're keyword rich, typically. They're short and they're written to grab your reader's attention. So they're easily repurposed into tweets. So here are our 5 tweets that we took directly from the bullet points. Now, bear in mind, some of these had to be reformatted a little bit to make them more punchy for Twitter, and we added some hashtags. But here's your examples. Why Amazon sellers might want to consider an e-commerce store. An e-commerce store is a hashtag. What's the first step to establishing an e-commerce store? An e-commerce store, again, is a hashtag. Steve Chou's strategy for product promotion on Pinterest. Okay, and we did hashtags for product promotion and Pinterest. What ads are best for driving traffic to e-commerce sites? Again, hashtags for driving traffic and the word e-commerce. And then the 5th one, can you use Amazon to fulfill products sold on your private e-commerce store? And we did hashtags for Amazon and e-commerce store. Bam! Tweets created in less than 5 minutes from content that we've already written. And for our clients, we include these on their show notes page with clickable links. But there's one more thing. And it's something we leave until the very last in our show notes creation process on purpose. And that's the title. Now, we intentionally wait till the very end of our process to create our show notes title for a few reasons. Number 1, titles are incredibly important in drawing in the reader or listener to get them to listen or read in the first place. You write a bad title, and people won't engage with that post or that audio. And then number 2, by the time we've done all this work surrounding the topic, we personally as writers have marinated in the topic long enough that we can write a good title. So we write the title. Some of the things we include in it are keywords toward the front end of the title if possible. Secondly, guest names. If there's people being interviewed or highlighted on the episode, we want to include their name because people are going to search for those. And then thirdly, action or knowledge words. That's what I call them. Words like powerful, vital, keys, secrets, amazing, value. You get the idea. Now, rather than try to school you on how to go about crafting a good show notes headline or title, I'm going to point you towards some outstanding resources. And you can Google any of these titles and it'll come right up. All right, but I've included the links in the show notes at podcastfasttrack.com/shownotes4. Here's the first one. 10 surefire headline formulas that work. Here's one by Neil Patel. Headline Writing 101. Man, it's a great post. Here's another. 5 easy tricks to help you write catchy headlines. That's by Jeff Goins. And then How to Write Better Headlines. And that one's from HubSpot. Now, here's my call to action for this episode. What do you need to do to promote your podcast episodes on social media? I mean, it's clear that more people are going to find your podcast if you promote it than if you don't, right? So what action steps do you need to take? Don't just be a listener. Don't just be one who hears this and says, yeah, I need to do that someday. Get on the horn. Come on, people. Get this going. Your podcast needs more listeners, and you actually can bring value to their lives. So get out there on social media. What are you going to do? What's the action steps that you're going to take? Are you going to write your own social media blurbs? I just gave you a whole episode telling you how to do it. Are you going to hire someone to do it? That's an option. My team is available for a select number of clients. Contact us if we can be of help. You can reach me at Carrie@podcastfasttrack.com. Now go out and do something to promote your show in social media. And thanks for listening. This show is brought to you by Podcast Fast Track, where my team provides professional podcasting services without the time suck. Full production, editing, and show notes, all in one monthly subscription package. You can find out more at podcastfasttrack.com. Now go out and make it a podcastificating day.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.